A very good evening, everybody. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, ZMH 286, Patricia and David, on this Saturday evening, if you're in this part of the world, 19th of July. And we've had, well, it tried to be a dry day, but it just couldn't do it. We got a bit of a shower, 1016.3, fairly stable. There's just no wind at the moment, which means that laundry doesn't dry. 15 degrees Celsius, and that's pretty nippy out there. But anyway, so we've got various boats going in different directions at the moment. I've just been looking at them on the AIS. Blue Oceans is streaming westwards, and we have Silhouette heading to Tonga with Pogean and a couple of others. Not sure whether Suzanne will be on Nihaj, and Barney, should I say, is in Tegua, and probably still going to be there. I'll wait and see what David's got to say. It's a pretty torrid place at the moment up there. Mind you, the Vanuatu is like that, which is why it's such a beautiful, lush green place. But it is quite difficult sometimes to get decent passage weather. No news to speak of, really. I shall get straight into calling the boats. Let's start with Blue Oceans. Blue Oceans.
Gulf Harbour Radio, this is Blue Oceans. Do you receive? Over.
Yep, I most certainly do, and pretty good conditions tonight. It's interesting that these lower frequencies, Simon, have been much better than the higher ones. Go ahead. Hope all is well. Over.
Yes, all is well here on Blue Oceans. We're making good passage. We're currently at 19 degrees 16.9 south and 179 degrees 47.3 degrees west. We're doing a passage of 267 true, doing about 7.5 knots, and it's about 16 to 18 knots of southeast. We've had quite a bit of rain on and off all day. Over.
Okay, quite a bit of rain. Well, there you go. I don't think your west is correct. I would suspect that you... could you just give me your longitude again? Over.
19 degrees 16.9. Over.
No, the other one. The longitude.
Just wait, I'll just check on that. Over. It's 179 degrees 47.3 west. Over.
Still not going to be west. Okay, David says it could still be west. Okay, 179. Well, that's a lot better than 139. I didn't know where to put you there. Right, we have Blue Oceans at 19. We'll call it 17 south, and 179.47 east. And you have got good winds to move you along. No wonder you're going 7.5 knots at 267 degrees true, and 16 to 18 knots from the east. So, yeah, boy, you are moving quite well, and I'm sure the family are enjoying the trip. Because that's a pretty decent trip, isn't it? Yeah, I'm just looking.
That's right.
Yeah, he's right, says David. Okay, all right.
No problem.
No problem. Just looking at the other boats there as well while I've got the AIS has been up and down. It's been quite slow for some of you guys, and it's sort of been a bit hard to work out what the speed is like, really. All right, so it sounds good, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Anything exciting happening, or is it all just a peaceful passage? Over.
It's fairly peaceful. There's nothing untoward. We're just hoping to make Kindavu, the south of Kindavu tomorrow, mid-morning, and then into General Monday morning. Over.
Yep, right to that. Well, you could probably do without the rain. It makes it a bit more pleasant, doesn't it? But I'll wait. Scattered cloud, David said tomorrow. So we'll wait and see what he rounds up with the weather. Okay, sounds good for the Monday ETA. Okay, we'll clear with you and the family. Good greetings to you, the other two. And we'll go to Silhouette, Gulf Harbour.
South Harbour Radio, Silhouette. I'll copy.
Yeah, good copy, Phil. Go ahead.
Okay, position 21 degrees, 55 minutes to south, 176 degrees, 26 minutes west, course 055 true, speed 5.5 knots, wind south-southeast at 21 knots, barometer 1015, 100% false cover, and the seas about 2 to 3 meters forward.
Boy, the seas have gone up, haven't they? I've got Silhouette 2155 south and 17626 west on a course of 055 true, 5.5 knots, with 2 to 3 metre seas, south-southeast 21. Pretty good direction. No wonder you guys have increased speed today. I was looking at you and Pajian. 1015 and 100%. Yeah, Pajian, but this was 43 minutes ago, was at 2132 and 17558. So all seems good for the progress with you two, and the other boat who seems to keep dropping off the thing. Ray Fiki, his AIS is not worth reporting because it's quite slow. Daydream, of course, is behind you at 2152, not too far away, and 17633. So yeah, sounds like I thought it wasn't going to be quite that strong today, but it sounds really a nice direction for the wind anyway for you, over.
That's the only thing I can say good about it is the direction. DSF and UCL shows that it should be less than 15 knots. So a question for Dave, did he see anything that's not in the forecast over?
Yeah, is there anything, David, do you want to just...
Yeah, I'll cover that.
Yeah, he'll cover that now. Hang on a minute. He was going to do it all, but not with the Barney not moving. We might as well do the weather now, and yeah, you'll be interested to see what's going on.
Yeah, okay. Good evening to all of our listeners, including Phil. Today, wherever the rest of you are, since we've just had a few yachts on the move, I'm just going to start with the weather in Tonga. Phil, you can pay attention to this. Hopefully it's reasonably correct. Anyway, a trough lies over Tonga Tapu as we speak, and also the Hapais, fairly broad. So tonight, this trough is going to reach Vavalu as well. So the usual clouds, rain and possible thunderstorms should be expected. Now the forecast for Tonga Tapu through tomorrow, winds south to southeast, 10 to 15 and rising to 20 knots at times. And for the Hapais, anybody who's up there, west to northwest, 10 to 15, then shifting south to southeast. Now for the Minervas, south to southeast about 10 to 15 with southwesterly swells, maybe 2.5 meters. That's Sunday, but Monday, the winds west to northwest, 10 to 15, and gusts to 20 at times. And Tuesday, expect an active trough over the Minervas, west to northwest winds with gusts to 20 knots and probably more. So that's the story for the Tonga area. Phil, you're just about it at Tonga Tapu. So what I said about Tonga Tapu should apply to you, being that close. So moving to the Lau group, southeast winds Sunday, shifting to northeast on Monday. Then expect that trough that I talked about on Wednesday with westerly winds, gusty westerly winds. Now, for Barney and anybody who's in the Taurus group, still fresh winds today, east to southeast, gusts up to 25 knots, maybe more, scattered showers, and a chance of thunderstorms. Now, Sunday, An active trough sits over the group, so we could expect gusty easterly winds right through Monday. Now, Tuesday, the trough lifts, so expect a wind shift, and there'll be southerlies. So light air around 10 knots Wednesday through Friday, and probably it's going to be more in the southeast direction, southeast winds, all the way to the Solomons, Wednesday through Friday. So that could very well be a passage window to leave from where is Barney? He's in Tigua Island. So from Tigua to the Solomons, possibly Wednesday through Friday might be a window for you. So that's about all I've got. Not much change, Phil. Your weather that you reported probably going to be pretty much the same tomorrow, and then we'll see what happens when you get closer to Tongatapu. So
why is it 20 knots and not 15? Why is Phil's weather 20 and not 10 to 15, which is sort of what was expected?
Trish is asking me how come the wind is 10 to 15.
On the models. On the models.
You asked this question.
Well, I'm just asking that because we didn't expect the 20 knots yesterday when we were talking, and Phil has got 20 knots at the moment, and you're saying that that's about what he's going to be getting. So my question was, which I'm sure it's Phil's question too, why is it somewhat higher, significantly really, higher than the models? And I know you'll give us the usual story about models only being an estimate, but what is happening that's causing the wind to be a bit stronger than expected? Back to David.
Okay, from what I can see is that there is almost a line that you can draw, and it starts at about maybe about 20, right about where you are, Phil, maybe a little bit further to the south. Fairly light air at that line and further south. But at that line and then further north, in other words, towards Nuku'alofa, the wind just picks up. So the only thing I can say is that we've got just a little bit more compression in the isobars. The problem with looking at the isobars is that it's very difficult to really judge the distance between them because they're not linear, and so some areas the distance between say 1016 and 1014, that 4 millibar difference, that distance can change in a very short period of time. So you can go from fairly light air to stronger air. Hope that makes sense. So further north, in other words, from where you are now to Nuku'alofa, it's going to be in the, I would say, 15 to 20 knot range as a mean wind. And then, of course, you've got cloud, which I can see on satellite imagery. And so the downflow from any cloud that happens to have any height to it is going to offer gusty winds or more wind than you normally have been getting. So clouds have probably a real big influence on what you're going to get. I'm just going to look again at my satellite image because it updates very quickly. Hang on. And yep, from what I can see, putting it on infrared, which will pick up any of the high cloud. No, there's no high cloud around you. All the clouds are medium to low level, mostly strato Q. A lot of breaks though, but that is enough height in those clouds that the downflow from them could be a good reason for the increase in the wind. And of course, the final reason is the models just aren't getting it right. So that's why we ask you what you got, because I like to compare the real world with the model world. And it's seldom in total agreement. When it is, we get very happy about that, but more often than not, it's not the case. So we say just look at the models as an idea. And what else can I say that answers this question? Tricia is sitting there, she's playing a violin. I think she's heard this before. But when we give the wins, or when the model people give the wins, there's always a band. So in other words, if they say, you look at EC or you look at GFS and they say 15 knots, I like to give a 5 knot plus or minus to that. And that's just the mean wind difference. And gusts can be 30 to 40% higher than that. So just because we say 15 knots doesn't mean what it's really going to be. And that band, that 5 knot band, does take into account the non-linearity of the isobars. So if you haven't fallen asleep by now, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Over.
Yeah, I think I got most of it. Over.
I think we'll be discussing this when we close down, because I checked your barometer reading and you seem to have a pretty accurate one. And it's been 10-15 both nights, which of course is not to say that it hasn't fluctuated, which the normal diurnal fluctuation would give. But
the next isobar could be closer or further away.
The next isobar could be varying. They aren't just sort of like on a racetrack, I will admit, looking over his shoulder. So yeah, but the old seas have come up too, which make life not very pleasant. All right, Phil, lots to dream about when you get your night's sleep, or parts sleeplets, as you would as a single-hander. Have a good night, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Over.
Roger that, and my Thursday
Sunday morning, yeah. Well, that wind has certainly moved you along a lot quicker, hasn't it? So, all right. Well, we'll assume that you'll drop the hook out there somewhere, probably Pangamoto, and do the official thing on Monday. They certainly don't do anything in Tonga on a Sunday, that is for sure. Nor the Cook Islands, as we discovered. All right, Phil, talk again tomorrow. Cheers, and let's see if where are we? Barney, are you on frequency? Ocean Fever? Ocean Fever?
But I'm flying here, and your forecast is Tuesday or Wednesday.
Roger that. Boy, you're not coming in very well tonight. It's quite, I can tell there's bad weather around you. Yeah, it looks like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we'll have a chance to talk again over the next couple of days. And I did get the report this morning that you had quite a lot of wind. I think it was either 30 knots or 30 degrees. Could have been both, I suppose. What I wrote down here, and 3 metre swells too. So not very pleasant, but you are tucked into a good spot, and it sounds like you've got a bit of company and plenty to do on board. Okay, is there anybody else wanting to call in? Please call now. No, nothing heard, and I was just going to look at where Suzanne was, but she's below you guys. She calls in the mornings, and this morning she was at 2535 south and 17612 west, and down there the wind was 15 to 20 from the southwest. So that's interesting. Well, Suzanne's going from New Zealand to Tonga, so That's interesting that Silhouette has got south-southeast, so we'll have to have a look at that one. Hadn't bothered mentioning that one to you, David. All right, folks, have a very good evening, and we will talk to you again tomorrow. Cheers all. We're clear.